guys, welcome back to another video. Now on this video I want to do a follow-up from a show I did yesterday. In that video yesterday I had referenced two videos from Ronald Sullivan, and I was just talking about the burden of proof. And I also said in that video that if I was the jurors, I would not find Aaron Hernandez guilty. I would acquit him because there are some things that are missing. So a couple questions. It was two people. Said, explain yourself. What do you mean? If you've been watching the trial, from the beginning, from opening statements, all the way till this point, you know that what's missing. There's a lot of things that are missing, but I guess, you guys want to hear my perspective on it, so I'm okay with that. So in this video, I'm just going to list a few things that I think that is missing from this case. For one, well, I'm just going to list them. For one, the spilled drink theory. Okay. Or the spilled drink story, or whatever you want to call it. Now, if you believe the spilled drink story, you're solely basing that on Alexander Bradley's testimony. Okay. If you think that Alexander Bradley is a believable person, he's a credible witness, of course you're going to go against me when I say that I don't believe in that theory. I don't believe in that story. And I'm having questions. I'm having trouble believing Bradley. I'm having a lot of trouble with it. So that's for one. We don't have any video footage of a spilled drink. There was plenty of other people in the club that night. We don't have any other stories. Most of the people that were in the club that night, they weren't questioned because, if you remember, when they were coming into the club, they had a scanner, and they didn't scan all of the people. All of the people didn't get scanned, but there was at least 100 and some people they could have talked to see if they saw something. And I have yet to see those people take the stand. It is my belief that it didn't happen. Now, if you believe that, I'm sorry, not a spilled drink, he said the drink splashed. And Bradley said it splashed on his arm as well. Then Bradley said that he's not sure if Aaron confronted the guys over it or not. He said he's not sure if he even said anything. Okay. So if you want to believe Alexander Bradley's story, I'm okay with that. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing what people got to understand. Neither one of us were there that night, okay? There's a possibility that spilled drink theory didn't happen, okay? There's a possibility that Alexander Bradley is lying, okay? I'm not wrong and you're not wrong. We weren't there that night. Okay, so let me just say this. Let me just finish with this point. I'm not saying you guys are wrong on the spilled drink, and I'm not wrong either because neither one of us was there that night. But there is doubt. I'm trying to explain to you why there's doubt here. Okay, so if you want to believe his story, then okay, you believe the spilled drink story and you think Bradley is credible. But that's one. All right. Number two, the only video that we see with Aaron Hernandez in the SUV, the only thing that we see is Aaron Hernandez driving. Bradley said at some point they stopped the car, they walked around a little bit, then he became the driver. We don't have any video footage of that. So again, if you want to believe Alexander Bradley's story, go ahead. But I don't see anything there. I don't see, the only video that we see is the garage video and Aaron Hernandez is driving. And for you to believe Alexander Bradley was driving at some point and then Aaron reached over and shot, you have to believe Alexander Bradley's story. You have to believe that he's credible. And I have reason to believe that he's not credible. Now, to be fair, well, no, I don't want to be fair. I'm just going to tell you my stance on it. Again, I don't know if Alexander Bradley was driving that night. I don't know. You guys saying that he was driving because he said it. Okay. So I have a problem with Alexander Bradley because without the immunity deal, we wouldn't have a case. If we did have a case, he would be facing the same amount of heat as Aaron Hernandez right now. So he had a lot of time in between to make up a story. You see what I'm trying to say? He didn't want to cooperate with the police. After this happened, when they went back to his baby mother house, he could have called the police. Okay? He didn't have to continue to hang out with Aaron Hernandez. If he's such a bad guy, why would you hang out with somebody that just killed 2 people? Okay, no smart, logically person would do that. And I know what you're going to say, that he's not that type of person. So if he's not that type of person, why would you believe him? Okay, because if I was involved in something like that, I'm pretty sure I would not be hanging with that person no more. But why was he hanging with Aaron Hernandez? Because he had everything to gain. I don't trust people like that. Maybe you guys trust people like that, but I don't. Okay, so let's go on to point number 3. Also, before I get to point number 3, let me say this really quickly. I appreciate the feedback because that gives me ideas for new videos. So that's why I'm making this video, just in response to those questions. So I appreciate those questions. All right, so let's see, point number 3. Now, point number 3, this is in no particular order. I'm just saying, I'm just making up the points. I'm not making up the points, but I'm just saying the points as I go along. I don't have a list written down, but I'm just going through the list. But the list is in no particular order. Now, number 3. Okay. Now, number 3 is, he said when he was on the highway, okay, at some point, remember this? Remember the testimony from Bradley? He said after they left the scene, they eventually got on the highway, and he said that a state trooper were following them. So they became paranoid. Then the state trooper got off the exit, and he told Aaron, you know, we got to get rid of this gun. He said Aaron took off his shirt, he cleaned the weapon, and he dumped it. That's what he said. He said he dumped it. Okay. So it makes me believe he threw it out the window. Now, if that's the case, this young lady that had the accident where they found the supposed murder weapon in her trunk, did someone go back to retrieve that weapon? I'm having a problem with that story. Did someone go back and retrieve it? And how did they know on the highway where to look for that gun? After they dumped it, did they just circle around and go back and pick up the gun? He never said. He never specified what happened at that point. Okay, so if Aaron Hernandez, he was shirtless, right? He cleaned off the weapon and he got rid of it. He dumped it. Okay, so what is this weapon we have in court? Who retrieved the weapon? We don't know who retrieved it. That's a hole in that story. Okay, there's some doubt there. That's more doubt. Okay, did Tanya Singleton go back and get the weapon? How did she know the exact spot? I'm just saying, I'm not saying that she did it, but how do we know the exact spot that person went back and picked up that weapon? Okay, in the heat of the moment, you're not going to remember which spot that weapon was dumped at unless they came back the next day in the daylight and happened to see the gun there. But I don't know. I'm having a problem with that story. Was the gun dumped, or did they keep the gun that night? Or did Bradley keep the gun? Because isn't Bradley affiliated with that young lady? I know Aaron Hernandez and Bradley is affiliated with that young lady that had the accident. Who gave her that weapon? See, this is a question that is unanswered here. We don't know. Okay, what they're hoping that the jury doesn't get any of this. Okay, I'm getting all of it, and I'm remembering it. That's why I'm archiving in these videos, so I can go back and remember what I said. And I want to know, was that gun dumped? Was it dumped on the highway? Because that's what he said on the stand. He said it was dumped. Aaron cleaned it up and dumped it. Okay, he took out the shell casings and he dumped it. Okay, so how did that murder weapon end up in court? I know how it ended up in court. They saying that the young lady had an accident, and somehow it ties back to the scene because of the bullet. The guy testified saying that the striations match the test firing weapon. That's how that gun is dead. So they're saying that that's the murder weapon. There's no DNA on it. There's no fingerprints. Okay, how? My question is, how can you tie Hernandez to that weapon? There's no DNA. There's no fingerprints. You know how you're tying him to it? Because Bradley said so. That's how you're tying him to it. Because one of the comments I received is Aaron Hernandez was the shooter. That's not up for debate. It is up for debate. The reason why it's up for debate is because there's no fingerprints. Okay, there's no DNA on that murder weapon. The reason why we're saying this, there's the reason why that person may be saying it's not up for debate is because, the prior case, he was the shooter, he's already convicted. The point of the matter is that this is a separate case. We can't think about that other case right now. We're thinking about the evidence here. The evidence does not point him to that gun. So the only reason why you're saying he's the shooter, I'm imagining, is because Bradley said so. And I'm going to keep stressing in this video that I do not believe Alexander Bradley. I believe that he's telling half-truths. So again, I'm saying, okay, if you believe that Hernandez is the shooter, it's solely based upon because Bradley said so. It's because Bradley said so. And yes, one of the surviving victims said that Aaron Hernandez was the shooter. Now, a lot of time has passed. There's a lot of news articles that came out after that shooting. And you could say, you know what? That is him. That is him. But based upon your memory that night, can you say that for sure that Hernandez was the shooter? I'm going to say no. But if it was me in that car, I'm like, you know what? That was Hernandez. Yeah, I think I do remember him that night. Yeah, I do remember him now. Yeah, he was the shooter. Oh, I can't go off of that. That's why I'm having a hard time believing that. So again, I want to know, was that gun dumped or not? Bradley said it was. He said they ditched it. So what's up with this gun here in court? Oh yeah, you know what? This girl, she knows Aaron Hernandez. She's tied to him. There's a gun in the back. Yeah, that's the gun right there. That's the murder weapon. Again, I have doubt there. Okay, I'm going to get to point number 4. Point number 4 is there are 3 surviving victims. There are 3. We only heard from 2. If the state is getting ready to wrap up their case, I want to hear from the 3rd victim, surviving victim. I want to hear from him. I want to hear from him. There was 3 individuals in the back seat of that BMW. There were 3. I only heard from 2. Okay? Now, you mean to tell me if the state wraps up their case and we don't hear from that 3rd victim, you're going to tell me that there's no doubt there? I want to know why we're not hearing from him. Where is he? Where is he? And also, he was one of the victims that left the scene that night. Okay? You mean to tell me my friends get shot? I don't know if they're alive or not. I'm going to leave that scene. Let me say this. I will leave the scene because I don't know if the shooters are going to come back and finish the job. So initially, I will leave the scene. Okay? I will. But when the cops get there, I will come back. Okay? Because I think it might be safe enough for me to come back because the police are there. Okay? I want to know why we didn't hear from the 3rd surviving victim yet. Okay? That's what I want to know. We heard from Rachida Sanchez. We heard from the guy that got shot in the arm. But we didn't hear from the other guy yet. There's doubt there. So if the state is getting ready to wrap up their case and they don't call him to the stand, as God is my witness, I want to know why. I'm not saying that he had any shiesty activity or anything going on. I want to hear from him. I want to hear from him. There was 5 people in that BMW that night. 2 passed away. Unfortunately, we had 2 that passed away. Okay. And we heard from one person that was shot in the arm, and we heard from Rachida Sanchez. I want to hear from the last person. Okay? That's my point. I believe I'm on point number 5, and I believe my question was answered by someone in that community, because I think someone in that community reached out to me and explained to me why he burned his clothes. They explained to me why Rachida Sanchez burned his clothes. Now, I was a little conflicted with that. I mean, people react in traumatic situations differently, okay? I took a ton of psychology classes. I took a ton of abnormal psychology classes. I had a minor in it, actually. And I can tell you that people react to traumatic situations differently. Each situation is unique to the last one. So you do have a baseline for situations like that. You do have a baseline to work off of, but just know that each individual handles traumatic situations differently. I believe that he's suffering from PTSD. I don't know if he has gotten help for his PTSD. I don't know. But even though I'm struggling with the fact that he burned his clothes, I'm not gonna hold too much weight on that, because maybe he was in a crazy state of mind, and there was blood on his clothes, his friend's blood. So he's like, you know what, I'm gonna burn it. Someone reached out to me and said that within that culture, that's normal for them to burn their clothes. I guess if they have blood on it. I don't know how true it is, but someone reached out to me and tried to explain it to me. Okay, but still, that's point number 5. Okay, point number 6 is going with point number 5. You waited almost 24 hours to go to the police, and you're a victim. You didn't stay at the scene that night. Now, I said again, if it was me, I would have left the scene, because I don't know if that SUV is going to come back and finish the job. I would have left temporarily, then I would have came back and talked to the police. You know why I would have talked to police? Because I don't know why people were shooting at me. They killed my friends for no reason. I'm going to come back and help that investigation. Now, I understand that not everybody think that way, but it's enough for me to raise a red flag, okay? That's enough for me. He was on the scene. He did come back to the scene, okay? And he refused to talk to the police, and he left. Him and the other guy left. And then they eventually talked to each other and said that they need to go to the police. Now, did they have time to work out a story? We don't know. But I'm not going to hold too much weight on it, because I know that they're victims. At the end of the day, they're surviving victims. They're going through PTSD. I don't know if they receive help for it, but I'm pretty sure they are. I'm pretty sure they go through life looking over their back now. But just to be fair to them, they're surviving victims. And the way he acted on the stand, because somebody said, well, look how he was acting on the stand. I understand it, because he thinks that Aaron Hernandez shot him and his friends for no reason. He's gonna say, yeah, that was the guy. He's gonna act a certain way on the stand. Remember, the other surviving victim, he was a pretty good witness. The reason being, the reason why there are differences in their testimonies is because they're 2 different individuals. They're taking it differently. Rachida Sanchez is not. It's almost, for me, it's normal the way he was acting. But again, when they left the scene, that raised a red flag to me. And I'm going to stress it again. If it was me, I would have left the scene after the shooting temporarily for safety reasons. Because like I said, they probably would have came back and tried to finish the job. That's what I'm thinking. But once everybody got to the scene, the police are there, I'm coming back. Okay? Not go home and relax while I wouldn't do that. So that raised a red flag to me. Then, no disrespect out to the surviving victims. I'm going to say this means no disrespect, but I'm almost like, just for investigation purposes, I bring that up. That's why it's a red flag, because people said to me, explain your point. Why is there doubt there? So I'm explaining it. So we got to go to point number 6. Point number 6, now this is not really me making a point. This is just me making an observation. Okay, you have a crime scene. Okay, you have 2 victims in the car. So you're going to tow the car back to the crime lab, and you can't even take the bodies out the car. Now, I know what some of you saying, that's no big deal. Okay, but they did give a reason for it. They did. I don't like the reason that they gave. They're saying it's because media was around and they want to protect, the identities. Well, aren't you police officers? Can't you tell the people to get back from the crime scene? That is a crime scene. You can tell the people to get back as far as they want. You can even actually tell the people to leave the scene. You're police officers. That was the reason that they gave. Okay? And you mean to tell me crucial evidence wasn't moved during that transportation? That's just an observation. Okay? It's kind of my point 6, but I'm going to point 7. Now, point 7 is when Alexander Bradley said that they get back to his baby mother house. Now, I want to know this. He never really explained it. When they all left that house, when he said that Tanya Singleton got there and she took the SUV, did he leave with Aaron from that house? Because he said that Tanya Singleton left her car. Did he leave with Aaron, or did he leave with his baby mother? Now, I know, because she said I think she had to go to work. Now, I know that doesn't make much sense to you guys, but I want to know Bradley whereabouts after that. Did he go hang out with Aaron, or did he go and regroup somewhere else? Okay, let me get to point 8. Point 8 is, if you are with somebody, okay, that's very volatile, because he said that Aaron Hernandez was very paranoid. He was very paranoid, and things set him off easily. Okay, and this person just killed 2 people. You just witnessed this person kill 2 people. Why would you continue to hang out with this person? Why would you continue to hang out with him? Okay, I'm asking again, why would he continue to hang out with him? Because he had everything to gain from him. This guy was getting ready to sign a big contract. He had everything to gain by hanging with Aaron Hernandez. If he cared enough about that shooting that night, he wouldn't have still been hanging out with him. Remember, he said that they went through a period where they weren't hanging with each other, but then he started hanging with him again. Let me explain. For you guys, for some people that may not have grew up in the streets, let me explain something to you, because I know a lot of people, which is okay. I don't want people to grow up in the streets, but I do have experience with it. Let me explain it. If you are with an individual that's a shiesty individual, this is what we describe these people as, shiesty. If he's a shiesty individual and you know this person is known for killing people and he just explodes for no reason and he's paranoid, you know 100% for a fact that that person could do something to you. And you watch your back around that person. You keep them close, but you kind of keep your distance. Okay, this is for people that know how to survive in the streets. You know for a fact you know that person is shiesty. Aaron, the way he was describing Aaron, he's shiesty. Why would you keep hanging around with somebody that's shiesty? Because you know that person will eventually get you in trouble. This is just common street savvy knowledge. You know this. But let me explain it. Let me explain why you hang out with that person. If you got something to gain from that person. If you got something to gain from them, you'll keep them close and you'll hang out with them. But let me explain that type of individual. That's the type of individual that you don't trust either, because you have to be you have to be just as shiesty as that individual to hang around that person. Okay? So y'all get what I'm saying? You have to be as shiesty as that individual to keep that person around, knowing that person is so volatile he can flip on you at any moment. And he's liable to, and he could kill, like he just killed 2 people and you're going to hang around him. You're just as bad as that individual. So people that have survived that kind of environment, we know that we don't believe that type of individual. We know that. I was born on the 8th of the month, but not just the 8th of this month. I don't believe Bradley. And only people that have been through something and has been in a rough environment know that you don't trust somebody like Bradley. You know that. Oh, Max, he shot Bradley, and Bradley has no reason to lie, because you remember Bradley said that he used to always have to calm him down. Bradley used to always have to try to calm him down, and he was a friend to Aaron. He was just trying to calm him down, so that's why Aaron shot those people that night. Listen, I don't trust Bradley. I don't trust him. Okay? I'm using street smarts right now, and I can read Bradley. He's lying about something. He's lying about something. Okay, if you want to say that Aaron shot the people that night, okay, that's fine. But you can't ignore the list I'm giving you right now. You just can't ignore that. Okay? And I didn't make a video like this. I should have made a video like this prior to now, but I'm making it now. So I'm pointing out all the holes in the case. So what am I on? Point number 7 or 8? Maybe 0.7. I don't know. I'm not even gonna I'm gonna stop saying 0.78. I'm just gonna just get into it. All right. My next point is, you remember the witness that said that when he heard Bradley get shot, he looked up and said it was a dark SUV. Okay. He said it was a dark. He said it was a dark SUV. Okay. Now, one of the people that testified, remember the guys that had selective amnesia? That's from Florida. One of them said that it was a dark SUV as well that he was in. I think he said it was a dark blue one, SUV. So it's not a white SUV like Bradley said. So somebody's lying here. Okay, and I'm more inclined to believe the witness, because you cannot mistake a white SUV for a dark SUV at night. You can't. He said it was a dark SUV that drove away. Now, was there 2 SUVs that night following each other? It's possible. But Bradley said that he at some point he fell asleep. I believe he got shot while he was sleeping. But he said he woke up. I know what Bradley said. He said he woke up after the car stopped, because that easily wakes him up. And he said Aaron had the gun pointing at his head. Whether you believe that or not, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you there, but I'm just bringing it up. The color of the SUV, I'm getting different colors. The witness said it was white, and I know none of you believe the witness. I know y'all think that witness is stupid. That the older gentleman, the way he talks and stuff like that, y'all think he's stupid. You guys think that it was a white SUV and he doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, poor man. Because I heard the comments, oh, poor man, he's just a stupid old man. It was really a white SUV, because you believe Bradley. I'm just pointing it out because I know some of you, maybe not some of you in this video, but I know in the live video, some people were saying he was stupid. Oh, they didn't come out and say it, but they allude. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a senile old man. Well, one person said he was stupid. So they don't believe that testimony at all, saying that it was a dark SUV that drove away. Okay, one of the people that was in the SUV that night said he got in the dark blue SUV. Okay, so that goes with the witness saying that it was a dark SUV that was leaving. So somebody's lying then. So Bradley said he was in a white Range Rover. Okay, that's what he got shot in. The old man said it was a dark blue there was a dark colored SUV leaving. So there's 2 things here. Either there was 2 SUVs that night following each other, or there was one. And if there was one, I'm more inclined to believe it was a dark colored SUV. So Bradley's lying. I'm thinking he's lying. I just don't trust Bradley, okay? I understand why you guys trust him and believe him. I don't, okay? I don't trust. Bradley is shiesty. I don't trust shiesty people like that. He's shiesty. You don't hang around somebody that just shot 2 people and you're hanging around like everything is cool again. You just don't do that. People from the streets know what I'm talking about. They know. I understand what you guys are going to say. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, that's because, he was a friend to him. No. Trust me, I don't believe him. So let me go on to my next point. Let me stop rambling. Now, when he was at the hospital after he got shot in the eye, he didn't cooperate with the police. Why? Because he don't believe in snitching. I don't know how you guys trust somebody like that. You guys believe his story, but listen, it's fair because you're saying that he was in that life and, you know, whatever. I can tell you personally, if that guy shot me for no reason in the eye and I survive, I am going to cooperate. I am going to cooperate, and I'm going to get his ass in trial, and I'm going to win the civil case. That's how I'm going to get my money out of him. Okay? Now, to be fair, that story could be true, because he's that type of individual where he didn't believe in snitching, so that's why he didn't cooperate with the police. Okay, so he was trying to get money out of Aaron Hernandez. However, in the text message, Aaron Hernandez really didn't incriminate himself. Now, to be fair, maybe Aaron Hernandez is smart enough not to incriminate himself in the text messages. Okay? He didn't even incriminate himself in the text messages in the first case. He didn't say anything in that first case that he wanted to shoot Odin. So maybe he's smart enough not to say stuff in text messages. I don't know. So Bradley wanted to get money out of him. Then he lawyered up, and the rest was history. Eventually, Aaron settled out. Oh, just to make another point to you guys, if you guys don't know this legally, just because you settle with someone doesn't mean that you're guilty. Sometimes you just want shit to go away. Okay, I don't know. I know people, y'all should know that if you follow legal cases. Just because you settle something doesn't mean you're guilty. You just don't want this shit getting out in the media. Give him a couple $100,000, let it go away. But again, he's like, I'm not saying that Hernandez wasn't the shooter, but based upon the evidence that we have, I can't even say that Aaron shot him that night. I really can't. The guys that were allegedly in the car, they're not saying anything. The only thing that we can go off of is Bradley's testimony. And like I said, Bradley strikes me as a shiesty individual. Okay? And you guys, you trust Bradley so much, but I guarantee you wouldn't let him come over your house for dinner. I guarantee it. You wouldn't even let me come over your house for dinner. Guarantee it. And you're sitting here saying that he's such a believable witness, whatever. All right, so let's go on to the next point. Let me get back to that point, because I know you guys say, what does he mean by that? You would not let me or Bradley come over your house for dinner. You would not. Let's keep it, how do they say, how the young kids say it? Let's keep it 100. If you met me, I'm an opposing looking guy. I'm a big guy. A lot of you will be fearful of me. And if I was on trial, a lot of you think I would have been a damn shooter because the way I look. So let's just keep it 100. You wouldn't trust Bradley in everyday life. And I know some of you saying that, oh, he's a truck driver, he got a trucking company now. You don't trust him. You just think that Aaron's the shooter, which is okay because of that last case. See, a lot of your biases is coming in from the last case. So you like, oh, Aaron is the shooter. I don't know. I'm not so sure about Bradley. That's what I'm saying. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I've met tons of people like Bradley in my lifetime. Trust me, he's shiesty. But anyway, let me go on to my next point. And yes, you will not have me at your house for dinner. I think about 65% of y'all wouldn't have me at your house for dinner because you wouldn't trust me. All right, so let's go to the next one. Oh, and just to let you know, I've never been in trouble with the law. I've never been in trouble with the law. I've never been in nobody's jail, anything like that. Been to college. You still wouldn't have me at your house for dinner. Hello. Let's go to the next one. And talking about you trust Bradley, whatever. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to take it there, but it is what it is. And one point I want to bring out. Yeah, he did hide the SUV. That doesn't look good. He could have been covering up for Bradley. He could have been covering up for his friend. Or he could have been covering up for both of them. But that doesn't tell me that Bradley was the shooter. I mean, if you look at it, you can come up with the argument that Bradley is the shooter, but that's not holding any weight with me. But yeah, I must submit that doesn't look good. I just want to point that out. All right, that's pretty much all I have for this video. I'm gonna make a part 2 because there's more, and I'm done with listing them right now. But with all that I said, that gives me suspicion and doubt. And if I was the jury, I could not convict. I would have to acquit. Just with all that information there, I said. And I know some of you are still not gonna agree with me with that, that's fine. Some of you just not gonna agree with me just because, and that's fine too. But what I just said is not up for debate. It's a fact. It's a fact that he said that he threw out that gun that night, and y'all know that. So don't sit up here and tell me he didn't say that, because I can literally cut that film and make another video and show you that he said that. He said Aaron threw out that gun in the highway. I want to know who went and retrieved that gun. Okay? I want to know why we didn't hear from him. Close with this. Are we going to hear from the third? Are we going to hear from the third surviving victim that night or what? Okay, I'll leave with that. If we don't, you guys tell me why. I know you guys will come up with something. You guys will come up with something. Oh, this is the reason why, and this is the reason why you're wrong. Please tell me why we're not hearing from this guy. Okay, I'll leave with that. And I appreciate the comments. That gave me the reason to make the video. So they gave me some material to make videos. So I appreciate it. And depending on what you guys answer back here, I'm gonna decide on what my next video will be, just based upon the questions. I'm gonna leave with this again. I'm gonna leave with two thoughts. If you meet Bradley tomorrow, would you trust him with your kids and your family? The answer is no. I'm sorry to keep rubbing that in y'all, but I know that's going to spark a lot of comments. You wouldn't trust me either. But anyway, let me go to number 2. The third surviving victim. I want to hear from him. If we don't hear from him, please let me know why. All right, guys, if you like my content, please share with your family and friends, and also appreciate all the comments that I've been receiving. Whether you agree with me or not, that's fine, but it gives me material for new videos. All right, guys, and don't forget to hit the subscription button. Until next time, take care.